What is up, guys? Andrew here, and welcome to Comicbooker, all things comics from a creator. So, I have been pretty quiet for the past few weeks, and I'm really sorry for that. But I got I got, I got an email from DC, my second DC project, inviting me to draw for the upcoming DC Pride anthology, and I just couldn't resist and say, um, I couldn't say no. Obviously, like my gosh, that was a huge deal. But like the deadline was pretty tight, and I don't think it's tight by like normal comics world terms. I just think it was tight, um, considering that I had a full time job and all this other stuff going on in my life. So I really had to like basically I had work, and then I doubled down after work to just work completely on pages, and that's why I've been AWOL. I haven't been posting much on IG or you know putting any videos here. I wasn't even live streaming because all my drawing time was on those DC pages. um, I wanted it to be the best it could possibly be, because DC Pride is like, you know, that's a big deal. I feel like it's a big deal. I don't know how you guys, if you guys have heard of it, but like it's a an annual anthology. There's been two to so far. Uh, and they have like some of the best creators on it. And this year, my favorite comics writer ever, Grant Morrison, they're gonna be on it. So just the idea of being in the same book as Grant Morrison, oh my gosh, like like I had to pull out all the stops. So yeah, that's a long-winded explanation for why I've been a bit AWOL. But I'm back. I finished this week. I submitted all my pages for the deadline. And let me tell you, I'm really proud of the pages. I just I can't show them on YouTube, obviously, because, I'm not allowed to. But I figured, since I can't do that, I just do a drawing of the two characters in the story that I'm gonna be doing in the Antho. So this is Batwoman. You guys may be more familiar with her because she is probably one of my favorite characters to come out of the DC 52 series. Um, and she is going to be teaming up with a new character named Xanthe Zhou. And this is Xanthe Zhou here. I don't know if you can see. This is a little sketch of them. And I say them because they're non-binary, which is why they're part of the DC Pride anthology. Also, they're friends with John Constantine, and they have a Chinese heritage, like a spooky backstory that has to do with being alive and dead at the same time. Uh, I've read the first issue. It's really fun. It's a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see where the story goes. And I thought it was a really good honor to draw both like a really important legacy character like Batwoman, while also introducing a new DC character that a lot of people may not be familiar with. So that's Santezu. That's them. Uh, yeah, they have a really cool design. A little hard to draw because it's it's got a lot of chrysanthemums as part of the design, like flaming chrysanthemums. So it's a little tricky, but it's a cool design and very modern and very like honestly, it's quite new for these. It's a little more of I want to say an anime or manga aesthetic, or even manhwa, honestly. um, being applied to the costume of this character, and I think that's gonna help them stand out. In a world full of a ton of superheroes and a ton of interesting characters. And of course, I'm a huge fan of Batwoman. Like, gosh, I remember back when she was first introduced in the new 52 series, um, not really liking this character too much, mostly because, she'd been, the way she'd been introduced in the press and stuff was touting her as like a lipstick lesbian. And like, a lot of she just seemed a little one dimensional, right? During the 52 series. And also, the artist drawing that, it was a weekly series, so they didn't have like a lot of time to show a lot of love on the art side. So, she just looked like a standard new Bat character. Or maybe I'm just falling to the trap of like whenever new characters introduced, people hate them, you know, and then just grow to love them over time. Maybe that was that, but like I do feel like she wasn't as interesting. But then shortly after 52, there was a Batwoman series that launched in Detective Comics, and it was written by Greg Rucka, one of the writers of 52, and it was drawn by J.H. Williams III. Probably one of my most, one of my favorite artists, one of my biggest influences, ever since they were on Promethea and I saw them. And I've gone back in time to like follow their work on Chase. And they had a big run in Batwoman where Williams basically refined all of Batwoman's design elements. For example, they took out the heels because in the original Alex Ross design, she had heels in her costume, which I guess a bunch of superhero characters are like that. Um, but Batwoman is trouncing around the night, fighting crime. It just feels like it wouldn't be practical for her. So they changed it up. They fleshed out her military background. They connected it to Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which was like a nice vehicle to really show off why that she's a lesbian without it being like a whole sensationalist thing. Like there was a whole military cadet scandal, and people didn't like that. She liked girls and all that stuff. But it wasn't like this is the point of the whole story. She had a lot of other layers to her, like her twin sister Alice, and like her relationship with her father, and all that stuff. And that's really what I prefer. When it comes to like these characters, right? You don't want them to just be gay for the sake of being gay. You want them to be like beautifully complex characters who have many facets to them, because that's what real people are like. Um, uh, and I say this as a gay man who I don't hide it. I don't shy away from it. But I don't want people to think of me just as a gay guy, right? I like comics. I love art. I uh, I try to be kind to people. Like all these other aspects that I feel are way more important than um, who I prefer to be in bed with. Do you know what I mean? Like, I hope that makes sense. Anyway, blah. Batwoman, great character. I think if all characters could be as complex as her, then we'd have a much like richer comic book universe. And um, yeah. Let me get to some questions. Actually, let me look at the chat. Hey, Kasatka Tilikum. Hi. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the live stream. And Moritaka Ishida. Oh my god. I'm sorry if I'm butchering names tonight. I had a long day. We had an art event. We were doing sketches and stuff. So um, it's been a long day. But I really wanted to come online for the stream tonight because I've been so absent for so long. Moritaka says DC Comics in general have been killing it lately. You know what? I am really happy about that. Uh, I've been reading. I mean, I've been reading a lot of Batman. I love Batman. I hope one day I get to draw Batman. I feel like this is definitely the closest I've gotten to drawing Batman. And I can't complain because, like, oh my god, Batwoman's a great, great character. Uh, but yeah, I really like the books they've been putting out lately. Especially, like, I don't know. Tell me what your favorites are, Mordetaka. Let me know in the chat. Let people know what's cool. Like for me, I'm super in love with the current Doom Patrol run, by Chris Burnham. That's some really cool stuff. And I also am totally enjoying Philip Johnson's Superman run, Action Comics run, and also Tom Taylor's Superman run, we just started. It's been really good. And I know there's a lot of controversy with it, but like I'm also very excited to see what Tom King does with Wonder Woman. The last great Wonder Woman thing I read was by Grant Morrison. At least, like, the last one I really loved. Uh, that was also controversial. Well, Wonder Woman's a controversial character. Anyway, Miracle Collins says, "Hi, I love your channel and you are an inspiration to me. I want to learn how to draw in a comic book style similar to yours. Where do I go to learn how to draw or shade like that?" Um, so Miracle Collins, my advice to you is, yeah, you go home, go to where you are right now. Um, you already have everything you need to be to learn comics. Cause honestly, I learned comics from looking at comics that I liked, from copying them. People learn by imitation, so I really recommend looking at your favorite artists, trying to draw like them, studying that, trying to replicate it, and trying to memorize in your head like the shapes and the interesting things that you like, the way they do their lines or whatever. Um, it's all a byproduct of mimicry. And the thing about mimicry is, because art is so particular. You know what I mean? Like it's such an expression of who you are as an individual. Even if you spend a lot of time copying, and learning through emulation, after some time your personal style will start to shine through, and then you're gonna start, drawing the way only you can draw. So I really recommend just practicing, learning to practice, and what you're doing right now, going on YouTube, watching other artists, see how they do things, like what process they're going through. Like here, this drawing, I don't know if this looks really polished and finished to you, but like, let's go back. This is what it looked like when I started. This is the replay. So it's kind of like very stick figurey and sort of like ugly at the start. And then I just go in, as I draw, and sort of refine. I change the poses here and there. Um, they were like jumping or they were in the air. And then I thought it'd be nice if this was like more of a down shot where they're standing there and stuff like that. And, as you go, it just gets more and more refined. Uh, and then I had this version, and I kind of overdid it. Like, I don't like that version of her. Like this I kind of overdid the inking here, so I erased it and went back and then sort of like redid it and got to the point where I am right now. Yeah. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. I hope it makes sense. Um, all you gotta do is draw and look at cool stuff and absorb it and put it into your brain, so that, the more you indulge in that process, the more you just be able to draw from imagination later on. It's like working out at the gym. It's just a time and dedication and obsession. Hope that makes sense. Moritaka says, "Do you know how to change the color profile from CMYK to sRGB in Procreate? I have a comic book guideline page that I get off Gumroad, but it has a very bland color profile and I can't change it." So you can't change it here in Procreate, because if you go into canvas information, you look at the color profile, as you can see. Oh wait, can you? You can. Okay, so I guess I lied. Nope, I don't think so. Wait. Try this. So go into Canvas, Canvas info, right? You're gonna see all the stuff, and then go here to color profile and mess around with these settings and see if it'll work for you. But actually what's worked for me is to create a new canvas and make sure it's on the right color profile, and then just copy paste what you've already done into that. Procreate is, I mean, I love this program. It's my favorite program. I've done all my pages on it for DC and also for my indie stuff. Um, but it's still growing. It's still evolving as a program, and it doesn't have as robust a system of options as maybe something like Clip Studio or Photoshop might have. Does that make sense? Uh-oh, wait, is my screen... Hmm, is my screen frozen again? Uh-oh, give me a sec. It is frozen. All right, sorry guys, I'm gonna restart the connection. I'm using this program called Reflector 4, and it's been giving me a bit of trouble. It's a program I use to connect the iPad to the Mac so I can live stream it. And there we go. All right, let's see if we can put this back on. Do. All right. There we are. Hopefully I'm back in business. Boom. Let's check OBS. All right. Boom. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay. Whew, okay, where was I? I completely got distracted. Thank you for pointing that out, Miracle Collins. I really got to figure that out. That actually is a problem that started happening in like 2 or 3 streams ago. I don't know if it has to do with like a MacBook update, a recent MacBook update, or something else, but I need a new solution, at least to like help stream my iPad to the right dependability. Because sometimes these live streams go for like, I mean, I try to keep it to under an hour, right? But sometimes I can go really long, and when it goes on for a certain length of time, it starts to disappear here and there. Any case, okay, back to it. So I think it would be good now to ink Xanthe Zhou's face and start getting them to the same level as Batwoman here, because Batwoman's starting to look really, really solid. In fact, maybe it might be time to, since this isn't like a... Since this isn't one of my pages and I can just sort of do it with the haphazard process, I'm gonna start flatting this. We'll use the little, this is the little, see up here, this is the color palette I used for the DC Pride story. And I'm gonna start flatting her there. So usually with flats, I try to do a silhouette first, the overall silhouette. I think that's the most efficient way to do it. And then once you have that silhouette, you can start breaking it down. So, here I have the silhouette of Batwoman. I'm going to put some black in there later and just make it a little more clear, but I'm going to put a clipping mask over her like that. And I'm gonna grab these red areas and just throw in a bunch of red there. Red. Her boots are red. I mean, this is a little rough, but I'll make this better as we go, or I might render it out in colors. And let's just get a bunch of colors in here so that we can mess with it after. Miracle Collins says, if it isn't too much trouble, could I see your process or time lapse you were explaining earlier? Oh yeah, give me a sec. Let me get these major red flats in, and then I'll show you a time lapse again. Boom. This shouldn't take long. Honestly, flatting, so my issue with flatting, and this is the flatting stage for covers or comics or anything. You're trying to create big blocks of color that you can manipulate later on. You can put shading on it or make it more complicated in colors. But what I noticed, at least, in this past 3 weeks when I was working on the DC pages, and it was like, you know, um, basically I was trying to have to be efficient with my time. I realized that the flatting stage itself takes way more time than I expect. So I want to get really efficient and good at it because I know there are flatters out there who can flat a page really like a full comics page in like 30 minutes or something. They're really freaking fast. And I just take a long time. I mean, maybe it's Procreate too. It might not be the ideal program for flatting. I don't know. But I got to figure that out. All right, let's get some hair in here. Boom, boom, boom. Hopefully the screen is updating and you're following along. And also, this is Draw With Me. Sorry, I forgot to like describe the format of this like live stream thing, but I really encourage you, if you are hanging around, to draw as well as I am. You know what I mean? Uh, I watch a ton of artists live streams. I find it to be like a great comfort while I'm drawing. It's something that I can keep in the background while I'm focusing on my drawing, and then check in every now and then to see their progress, and also see how I'm progressing uh, compared to them, and see if like I'm pacing myself all right. I don't know. I just feel like art making is so lonely, and this makes the streams like this, I feel it makes it a little easier if you can hear or see another artist working at the same time as you. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, almost done, and then I'm gonna do the time lapse thing again. I love I've started to really love drawing hair, and part of it was like looking at how Russell Dotterman, I don't know if you guys know him. He's currently, I think he's drawing a Scarlet Witch issue for Marvel, but he did a lot of covers for them. He drew the Mighty Thor, the Jane Foster saga, uh, and he's been drawing a lot of X-Men covers. So he's really great, and he draws hair so well. Gosh, like magnificent work. This is easy. These are Batwoman's eyes. Boom, just pure white. And then her skin tone is this almost white, off-white skin tone. And that's one of the edits that J.H. Williams made to um, her costume design is they made her skin tone very pale because you know she's ginger, and it also from a visual standpoint, it really makes her more vampire like, right? And that's super cool. Um, okay, all right. So here's the time lapse. Let me do a little time lapse. Time lapse replay, and this is how I usually start my drawings. I do a really rough sketch that looks like it looks like it looks really rough. Basically, it looks like stick figures with some block in for the major shapes and the limbs. It's not perfectly anatomically correct, but it gives me a general idea of how where everything will go. And as you can see, as I go, I'm like quickly drawing it over and changing things and trying new poses and stuff like that because you want to draw quick and rough at the start, um, in order to like keep yourself open to possibilities, right? Because if you spend too much time on something, you start to get locked in mentally. You feel the sunk cost fallacy, where I've spent so much time on this already, like I might as well follow through on that. And it's not great when you're trying to come up with like a good idea or a good thought. So anyway, it's very rough, and then it gets less rough because here I'm starting to block in. Okay, here's what her helmet looks like, and there's the rope, the bat rope that she's gonna be using to sort of float there in that pose. And then here's like me sort of working out Xanthe's face, Xanthe Zhou, and their pose also because like their pants are sort of like wedged a little higher than I would normally draw it. And there's like lots of little things in her design. And I also wanted like a little bit of a smile, so this looked, you know, showed off the character's look even more. And then this is where I came into like a bit of a problem. So I was inking on the bus, and it started to look really how do I say it? It started to look really stiff. Like, look there. That's where I went a wrong turn. I was doing this, and then I adjusted the face. Check out the chin will sort of dip in a little bit, and the eyes will change. And it started to look really off. And then like I put the torso up. I started to doubt the anatomy that I'd set down during my layouts phase, and it went south. You can see here the character's looking a little more stiff. The anatomy starting to get all over the place, and I was like, I feel lost. What's going on? Why is it not working? And then I put back the original sketch under it, and I looked at it again, and I was like, oh, okay, I see now where I went wrong. Right, I over focused on getting that foreshortened angle that I lost a bit of the dynamism of the original sketch. So this is kind of what I came back to. And then, refining Xanthe is also cool. Getting her hair to do the right wave and twist that I like. And then working out their JRPG sword, which I love, giant sword. And then sort of adding this smoke thing around it. And that would sort of be this part would sort of be like the end of the pencil stage, like this here. I'd be like, okay, that's enough. That's pencils. I'm gonna start inking. So this is the start of the inks. Um, and I was doing this on the bus on the way home from work today. And then I thought, if you look at my stories on IG, you're gonna actually see this in progress as I go through my day. But this is where we are now. Hope that makes some sense. Also, here is a black bar thing that I threw here. That's just to give me a sense of, try to make it in case. This is stupid. It's a, it's a image that's not official for DC, so it doesn't need to be a cover. But I figured I wanted a little guideline to tell me where, in case I wanted to put a logo on it. I would put a little space up there and make sure some important elements like the hair and the sword don't really go past that point. So, just in case. Does that make sense? Hope that makes sense. Moritaka says, Clip is probably better for making comics, but I always found it very frustrating to use compared to Procreate. Procreate just feels closer to drawing on real paper, thanks to the simple UI and stuff. Yeah, super, super hard agree. Moritaka. Procreate it gets out of the way. You know what I mean? Like, there's so little UI here. Whereas if I threw on Clip Studio, which I have here, and I keep meaning to use it for pages, but you know there's so much friction because when you go on Clip Studio, so this is a Clip Studio drawing. So I want to show the new updates. I've switched off a lot of the windows, but you can see here from the upper right, there's like all of these buttons and thingies, and usually there's like a floating window here on the right, like two or three, and it can get really overwhelming. And I like Clip Studio. I think it has like an amazing inking brush engine, like, and I have friends like Luciano Vecchio who does all this work for Marvel and DC. And also their new book Sereno is out, so you should check that out. Um, Luciano Vecchio does all his shit on Clip Studio, and he's great. So anyway, um, yeah, it just depends on what works for you. For me, I really like Procreate. I might change in the future. I might, try to train myself to do Clip Studio more, only because I feel like Clip has Clip was made for manga artists. It's Photoshop is a program that was made for photo editing and then got co-opted um, by digital illustrators to turn into like a painting program. So its brush engine has gotten more robust over the years, but like Photoshop's got a very bloated code base since it's been around since the 70s. It's like layer on layer of code, and it can feel like driving a truck, that like you have to maneuver a lot of stuff on Photoshop. It's powerful, but you know it doesn't feel as smooth. Whereas Procreate, which I'm using right now, this was made for mobile audience. Initially on iPad before the iPad even had the Apple Pencil, and then later on now there's like there's an iPhone version, and now with the Apple Pencil, it's really turned into one of the premier sort of illustration programs. And part of it is it's so aptly, it just gets out of your way. It has a lot of options, but it sort of hides them behind menus and things. And yeah, you can just focus on drawing what you're drawing. And this two-handed tap to undo thing, uh, it's just so great a gesture. It's gotten to the point where when I'm drawing traditionally, sometimes if I have an issue, I accidentally like do a two-finger tap on real paper, thinking it'll do an undo, which it doesn't obviously, but you know, try not to get too reliant on the undo. So yeah, this is Xanthe Zhou. What can I tell you about them? They are uh, Chinese American. They're based in Gotham City. They have their comic is called Spirit World, and you can Google that because I think the first issue is already in stores. I'm not sure, but they're super super cool. Their power is to the Chinese tradition of like burning paper things and to send it to spirit world so that the dead would have you'd burn like a paper house, or you'd burn like a paper car and all these other things in order to send those items to a beloved relative in the spirit world. Well, Xanthe Zhou's power is to basically burn things in real life, and whatever she burns, like a little paper sword, she can pull out from the spirit world um, an equivalent real badass version. So their sword is part of that, and they do other things too. They have like flying daggers and knives that they can pull out from the spirit world, um, and they pull a really cool thing out of the spirit world for the Batwoman story that I worked on for DC, but I don't want to spoil it. So you'll have to read DC Pride. It comes out May 30, so it's not too far. I think they're going to printers next week, and probably why the deadline was so tight. Yeah. Anyway, Miracle Collison says, "Thank you so much. That was really helpful for me. Thank you too for being here. I really appreciate you joining the stream. This is the latest I've ever done a draw with me, like the latest in the evening. But I, I wanted to get one in. I felt like I hadn't done this in a long time, and yeah, give the video a like if you like it, and I will try to make more. I also owe people a real video of like a YouTube video of I did the Shazam story for DC, which came out in March. That I wanted to make a video on how I made it, the process behind it and stuff, just so people could see. I'm still I'm not that experienced in the comic industry, unlike maybe some of your favorite artists. I'm literally like a nobody right now, but like someone who just got their foot in the door with the comics, with the mainstream US comics industry. So I thought it'd be really nice if I could just document that while it happens. Hopefully I have a more, I mean, I still have a day job. I have to maintain all the other stuff I need to do, because I can't live off of this yet as much as I want to. I want to like draw comics full time. But you know, while I'm while I'm fingers crossed waiting for that point, I figured I'd document it as much as possible. That's why this YouTube channel. That's why live streams and stuff like that. So yeah, there we go. I don't think I'm gonna. Am I gonna do it? I'm gonna do it. Okay, fine. I'm gonna put some spotted. It's a little early to spot blacks at this point, but I guess I'll just do it. There we go. Yeah, I want her to have like a. I want Xanthe to have like a devil may care grin on their face, but I also don't want to make them look like super evil. So hopefully that's a good balance. Boom. If you're wondering why my background doesn't, if you've been here before and you're wondering why my background is weird, I am dog sitting tonight for a couple of dear friends. So I am actually at their place, taking care of two little Yorkies, adorable Yorkies that, yeah, are just too cute. They're too cute, and if you can hear them right now, they're sort of pitter pattering around the apartment while I do this. Moritaka says, your video on your self-published comic inspired me to choose self-publishing for my graphic novel. That is awesome, Moritaka. Hey, do me a favor. if you could like throw a link or something, if it's online, like if you could throw a link on the chat or like message me on IG, I'd love to see your comic. I'd love to see what you're doing. Um, it's always great to see people making work and doing comics for the passion of it. I started making my own comics back in high school. They were horrible. They were horrible, but I was so excited about the story, and I was so excited about showing new characters, and I was so excited about the idea of even just like um, drawing my own comic because I loved comics so much that I just put it out there, and I honestly feel like that's the best way to learn. Uh, if you wanna get really good at making comics, making these things that we love so much. And on top of that, I feel like comics has such a strong history of like, in the prose world and fiction, um, when you self-publish something, it's called vanity publishing, and that is not said with kindness, because the implication is that just because you're self-publishing your shit because you couldn't get any editor um, to buy your work, right? But that stigma doesn't exist in comics. Mostly because it's comics is it's such a DIY medium. Like so many comics people have had to be self starters. That it's like a badge of honor if you self publish your stuff. And I can name names for you. Paul Pope, Jeff Smith, who did Bone. If you know Bone, Bone is amazing. One of the best young adult books. Uh, Michael Fief or Fifi. Am I mispronouncing him? Oh my god, I know him in person. I think I'm mispronouncing his name on the internet. Michael Fief, who does Copra right now. Um, Really, really amazing, inspiring guy who just doesn't relent. He just keeps working on his stuff and puts his stuff out there. Copra's like a really cool. Initially, comes off as a really cool homage to like the Ostrander Mandrake Suicide Squad series back in the 80s, but it quickly turns into its own thing. It's a really fun series, and I urge you to check it out. Also, really cool art because like one of the super inspiring things about Michael's work is that if you read the first issue, he has a little essay there. Well, it's not even an essay. It's literally just a few, like a paragraph or two. But he was talking about how he'd felt really stuck in comics, in making comics, because he felt like everything was going so slow. And he was thinking of how fast Jack Kirby was. I'm sure you guys know Jack Kirby, right? Um, and he thought to himself, what can I do to get to the speed of Kirby? And he realized that Jack Kirby drew fast because he had put himself in a situation where, he had these deadlines and he was forced to work that fast. And his style, which is, iconic, it's basically it invented most of the lexicon of comics art to date. Kirby dots and a lot of the designs of the Marvel you owe themselves to Jack Kirby, right? And he did that on a really tight deadline. And Michael's point was that you can make beautiful work even if you make it fast. And in fact, the speed is what may contribute to the beauty of the work. Um, anyway, I just found that super inspiring because I I don't know if you know this, but like I'm a noodler. I noodle a lot on my work, and I tend to just sometimes over detail things. Uh, and I do would like to get faster. I think I did a good job though this past like 8 pages in 3 weeks, full color. Um, I think that's great. I think that's a good pace to be at. I'd love to be faster, but I don't know if it's possible until I start doing this more full time. Like, you know what I mean? Just because I have a 40-hour job at the Art Students League, and I can't, um, I need to pay my rent and stuff. You get it. Any case. All right, here we are at the shoes. Let's get the shoes in. I think that looks good. I think that's looking really solid. So let's do that. And I don't know if I'll have time to let's see. Let's see. I don't know if I have time to color this. I might like split this up into like another live stream. I might end in like 10 minutes or so, just because it's closing in on midnight, and I probably shouldn't stay up super late. As much as like I'm enjoying this, I really am. But I might do a second stream, maybe tomorrow, or Sunday. We'll see. I really want to make a regular stream on one of the days of the week, but right now, like with work, it's like it's a little hard to figure out. Um, like we had an event tonight, which was amazing. We had like a live model and we were drawing and all that stuff from the live model. But like, I was thinking I'd wanna do draw with me's every Friday evening, but it looks like that's not gonna be like always possible. So maybe another night would be better. Another night where it's less likely that work will, because I want to make this more regular. I don't know. Moritaka says, I haven't posted any of it online yet, but I'm sure to share like what I do. Always send a copy of it to Comic Tropes P.O. Box when it's done. That's cool. I love Comic Tropes. They're great. There's so many good channels. It's so nice that, the internet has allowed all of us geeks to kind of carve out our own space online. I really appreciate that. Because it's so much easier to learn from each other and to talk to each other directly. So even if like I grew up in the Philippines, I was just like I was a kid in a faraway place thinking of like New York and all these other fictional places out there that I wanted to participate in. And back then, growing up with no internet, there was just no, I didn't have that many friends who were into comics. I mean, thank God my twin brother's into comics. I have a twin brother. But now, you can find your folk. You can find your people online. And you can even meet up with them eventually. You know what I mean? You can build friendships and especially ever since COVID, like with video calling now and everything, it's just like everything can work now remotely and build towards in person or whatever. So I think that's super great. Okay, I've sort of inked that. Let's get this in. I'm not sure. I think it's like that. Let's do that. I'm not 100% secure about this arm, but we'll put it in anyway. If you have YouTube recommendations for me, let me know. I always want to follow cool new comics channels, especially people who make comics. One of my favorites is Daniel Warren Johnson's. He does a Friday night stream every Friday night, and I never. I'm rarely ever actually able these days, especially I'm rarely able to like watch them while he's live, but I always watch them after. I always like end up playing them while I'm drawing after, and it's a really good comfort because like I said, it's nice to draw with another artist, even if it's like remotely. This is the quick line tool of Procreate. It allows you to like just make a straight line, like as if you had a ruler there. So that's what I'm using to like build out this sword. This is Xanthe's Mystic Sword. It's really cool. It's gonna make it look like it continues really well. And they have like an attachment here, which I'm gonna ghost in. Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna say what I say, what I tell everyone with every stream, which is that if you are drawing something right now and you post it online, please do tag me or message me the post. I love seeing what people are doing. I get so inspired when I see, work by other artists, especially artists who, I've been interacting with. If we can just like band together and conquer the stratosphere, that'll be awesome. All right, that's a weird curve, and I got it. So let's see if I can reach there. Boom. Okay. And you can see here, I keep switching to the eraser tool to sort of shave down the line here and there. That's just something I tend to do during inks, just to clean it up. Now I want the line weights to make sense. All right, there. All right. Okay, that's looking good. I'm gonna put in the shoulder thing here, and I'm actually let's see. Where are we breaking? We're breaking here. All right. I'm gonna close this so that I can start throwing a flat under Xanthe. I'm not done with this, and I definitely want to come back to it. Whoops. Let's do that. Do you have Instagram? It's Collins Miracle _ yeah, guys, add your IGs. I'm gonna add you guys. Let me see if you put it in the chat. I'll add you. Boom. All right, I think I found you. Hope that loads. And we're gonna do that, and invert. And then I'm gonna fill the flat with a silhouette. Xanthe is actually, they have a lot of yellow in their design, so I'm gonna put yellow for the flats, and I'm gonna leave it there for now. And yeah, I'm gonna bid you guys a good night. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna do another stream maybe this weekend. So watch out for that. If not, if you can make it, I'll probably post this online, like on IG or something. So follow me there. So yeah, I probably should get to bed. It's almost 12. Hello from New York. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, happy art making. May the muse ever be with you.